What's good, everybody? Welcome back to another episode brought to you by the League FFB. We are a little bit early today, and here is why. I dropped the draft in the Discord about 10 minutes early. You guys were fiending for it tonight. We had everybody joined super quickly, so the draft is already about to start. We are 20 seconds away from this draft starting, so we had to start the stream early. Y'all got to see that first round. Y'all got to see what's going on. Now, I am going to apologize in advance. If you guys hear the voice, it sounds a little bit different. Traveling over the last week got me a little bit under the weather. The voice is good, though, I think for the most part. I don't think we're going to lose it. There was a period earlier in the year where I lost my voice. We are not going to lose the voice. It's just congested, so bear with me. But I hope you guys are all doing well. I hope you guys are all doing great right now, actually, because the fantasy football season is right around the corner. We are a week and a day away from week one, where we get to watch the Ravens and the Chiefs, I think, play football on Thursday night. So I just went back to Vegas. I did my home league draft. Vlog should be coming out for that on Friday. I actually recorded the whole thing. We should have a vlog come out. You guys will get to see some of my home league mates, kind of how I go about those drafts, and just see all of the stuff that we got into while we were down there. So I hope you guys are excited for that as well. But as I mentioned, we are here to draft today. And look, we have a little bit of uncertainty, I think, with Ja'Marr Chase, and that's why you see him falling down the boards right now. As you see, 2 hours ago, it says uncertain for week one. So because of that, I am going to take Breece Hall as my first round pick. He is going to be my selection. And I see we got Flames in here. He says, bro, why whenever I do these, I get the 12th pick? I don't know, man. It's luck of the draw. It feels like sometimes you don't get to pick in the best spots, but there you are. Johnny says, finally got him. I'm assuming we're talking about Amon-Ra St. Brown. Yes, I knew we were talking about Amon-Ra St. Brown. So there you have it. Like I said, we're picking from the sixth spot right in the middle of the draft. But yeah, man, let me know in the chat. I know we got a couple people in here drafting with us who are also watching the stream and talking with us in the chat. But have you guys done your home league drafts already? Or are those something that are coming up this weekend? I know that last weekend is the biggest draft weekend of the year. Pretty much everybody's either doing it last weekend or this weekend. Now, if you wait and do it this weekend, you're going to not draft guys like Elijah Mitchell, who got put on IR, A.J. Dillon, who got put on IR. You may see the Ja'Marr Chase get bumped down a little bit in your drafts here in this upcoming weekend. But at the end of the day, is it going to matter too much? I don't know. Time will tell. You also had the Kyren Williams punt returner rumors that are messing with people's drafts, I think, right now. Not a big deal to me. Obviously, we didn't expect him to get a 110% workload like he did last year with the addition of Quorum, but I still think he's going to see a majority of the workload. Nothing crazy for him. Now, as we get up here, it's interesting because we are going to be back up on the clock here shortly, and I see we got the roll in here. He says, you want to join one more Dynasty League? Unfortunately, Roll, I am tapped out right now, man. I am in way too many leagues at the moment, and I had to join another one. Not had to. It's a fun league, but I'm in a bdge league that is going to be drafting tomorrow. So I am tapped out on leagues this year, man. I don't know if I can manage that many, plus make the content for it as well. So I will respectfully decline the invitation for the draft. Now, we are on the board. Look, I've been continuously grabbing Kyren Williams around this spot. I think he's going to get pushed down the board. We'll see if we can gamble. I know we got some people in the stream with us. I'm going to take Deebo Samuel. We're going to rock with Deebo Samuel as the wide receiver one of this team with Breece Hall as the RB one. Maybe Kyren comes back to us. If he doesn't, no big deal. But I am going to gamble here on this selection. So, yeah, man, as I was saying, I recently just did a home league draft. Not gonna dive too much into the details about the weekend for the most part. But and this reminds me, Jonathan, appreciate you. He says, got in the draft, Sal Guerrero, for the review at the end. If you guys want your teams reviewed. If you're in the chat, you want your teams reviewed at the end. I just kind of look at the roster to give you my 2 cents. Go ahead and drop your underdog names in the chat. I'll save them towards the end. But that being said, let's see. Now, as I was saying, this last weekend, I went down to Las Vegas, went over there, was able to hang out with some buddies. This is a long-time home league, high school friends, players from the basketball team that I played on in high school. A lot of those guys, some college friends. Really was just a fun time. I had the opportunity to get down there. It was a quick trip. It was about Friday morning to Monday night, and was able to get down there, play some golf with the guys, hang out, just have some fun, man. But give me a second. We'll make. And I apologize. That's probably going to happen a couple times in this stream. As I mentioned, the voice is hurting a little bit. It's probably going to happen. Now, we've been lucky enough to have somebody fall. A lot of the wide receivers, the running backs came off early. I'm just going to go with Devontae Smith. We're going to take him. He'll be wide receiver 2. Let's get that cough drop in there. That way that can kind of help with that a little bit. Haven't talked this much in the last couple of days. But as I mentioned, yeah, we were able to get down there. We were playing some golf. We were hanging out. That was on Friday. None of us are like good golfers by any means. We all picked it up not too long ago, a year or 2 years ago for most of us. Really nobody's had the time to play for the most part either. I think that's most people our age don't get to go out and golf that much. But then, so we just had a little fun scramble. It was me and my younger brother against 2 of our league mates just for fun. They ended up getting us this time. Last couple times we've ended up getting them, so they got us finally. There's some trash talk there. I'm sure that'll end up on the vlog as well. And then I'll pull up the draft board too so you guys can see that. And then on Saturday, that's when we did our draft. So we were able to go down to one of my buddy's houses, put up the sticker draft board, where you grab the sticker and you go put it on the big board. And that's really what we did on Saturday. So we were able to get our team. Our teams or our leagues for our redraft league is set up as a super flex tight end premium with 3 wide receivers. Somehow, now it's a 10-team league, but somehow I was able to come away with Jalen Hurts and Anthony Richardson in that league. So I'm feeling very good about my quarterback room. I see Caleb here. He says, bro, you jinxed me. I'm sick too. Look, man, it is what it is. We had an ongoing joke, Caleb and I, because as you guys are aware, we're friends. So we were talking a little bit before I left on vacation, because last year when I went to go do my home league draft, I came back and I actually had COVID when I came back. So much more sick than I am today. But yeah, much more sick than I am today. But we were joking that I was going to get sick again, and I think we might have manifested that. We might have spoke that one into existence, and it looks like he's sick too. So it's a little unfortunate. And that's unfortunate because I wanted Stephon Diggs, but we're not going to get him. So I'm going to go with my running back 2. We're going to take Josh Jacobs here. I think, look, as much as I've been down on Josh Jacobs over the majority of the offseason, it's lining up for him to get a massive workload. A.J. Dillon on IR, maybe Marshawn Lloyd not even healthy week 1. He's going to get a massive early season workload. So as much as I've faded him in the past, I've risen back up on Josh Jacobs, and he's a guy that I'm more than comfortable having as my RB2, maybe even a low-end running back 1 at this point. I have him, I think, as my RB11 in my rankings, I think, right now in PPR. So that's where we're at. Ryan says, DJ Moore seems crazy at 211. And let me go back and look at that because, I don't know, Olave, Debo, I don't think it's that crazy, honestly. I think he kind of belongs in that tier. Some people will say he belongs with Pittman. I think Pittman's just a little bit slept on. I think the crazier pick is Rashee. Rashee going all the way up at the 308. That's an insane overreaction because there was a point this year where Rashee was going in the 8th, 9th, 10th round, and now Rashee's going in the 3rd round. And not that you have to select him that late now because he was going there earlier in the offseason. But come on, man. Like 3rd round, I think we've pushed him up too far now. He's more so. I'm not taking him over Ayuk. I'm not taking him over Diggs. I'm not taking him over T. Higgins even. Like I think he's a 5th round, 6th round pick in all honesty, and he's going all the way up in the 3rd round now. People are a little bit too high on Rashee Rice at the moment. But yeah, man. So that league, sorry, I keep going all over the place. But yeah, it's a fun league. And you guys will get to kind of see all of the stuff around it. So I see we got Abraham. He says, hey, man, are you going to do another subscriber draft tonight? No, we are not doing another one tonight. Although, I'll tell you what, on Saturday, right now my plan is on Saturday to do a mock marathon with subscribers all Saturday long. I'm thinking like 10 mock drafts in a row, back to back to back to back to back. If that's something you guys want, let me know in the comments. Let me know in the replay comments of this video or in the chat right now. That is something that I'm thinking about doing. It's obviously a massive time commitment and an energy commitment, obviously, if I'm still a little bit sick. But that's something I want to do. So that is, if that's something that you guys want, let me know and we can do that on Saturday. Now we're here with our next pick. Only feels right that we go back to the wide receiver well. I think a guy being slept on a little bit. He was going a little bit earlier in drafts this offseason, but the Brandon Ayuk rumors have kind of pushed him down boards again. George Pickens, I'll happily take George Pickens here. Even at this cost, if Ayuk lands there, you're probably not talking too much more of a fade. I think he's probably a guy that you would take in the 5th or 6th round anyways if Ayuk was there. I think Russell Wilson being there actually kind of helps Pickens, so not a bad selection here. Now we'll go back to the big board there. But yeah, that's kind of the plan, man. That's the plan for the next couple of days as this season approaches. I think kind of catching my breath for one more week before we dive in deep in the season. Obviously, just got to get over this sickness. It shouldn't be too bad. I mean, a couple cough drops, Dayquil, NyQuil. We're chilling. We're not going to be tripping off of that one. But once next week comes around, it is full-blown, content from now until probably New Year's. I mean, that's about the time that week 18 comes around is New Year's. So it'll be all the content you could possibly want hitting you in your subscription feed every single week. We're talking waivers, trades, both dynasty and redraft trade videos. We're talking start sits, rankings, weekly rankings every week, multiple streams per week, weekly DFS content. Like all of this stuff is going to be hitting your guys' subscription feed. So whether you are a redraft player, dynasty player, even just a DFS best ball type of player, I got content for you this year. So should be a fun time, should be a good time. I'm very excited about it. This part of the year is always a grind. It is a lot and a lot of stuff to do. But this is what we gear up for, man. This is what we gear up for all off season. This is what we get ready for. So I'm excited for it. I hope you guys are excited for it. I'm just ready to watch some football, man. Like, quite honestly, this preseason didn't do it for me. I was excited to watch some of these guys play, but it didn't scratch the itch. I need to see these superstars out there. And that starts next week. So I'm excited for it. Now, we're going to be up for our next pick here in just a second. What do we got on the board? I got Keenan Allen. People not really liking Keenan Allen these days. Supposedly overweight, according to Hard Knocks. I guess according to a tweet, and people are saying he looks like it on Hard Knocks. But I'm going to take my boy, man. I've officially deemed Kyler Murray as my guy. That probably comes to no surprise to anybody who has been watching this channel for the last, 6 months. You guys know that I love Kyler Murray. I think he's undervalued in every format, in every scoring setting. It doesn't really matter. I have not found a place that properly values Kyler Murray. And I have him as a top 5 quarterback in 2024. So I will just take him, continue to stamp my approval to Kyler Murray, and make him the quarterback of this team. Now, what do you guys think? I actually asked that on my last video. If you're here in the chat with me, who would you deem as a my guy for you this year? A my guy being somebody that you want to target on your teams no matter what. You know, you just want, they're your guy. I mean, it's self-explanatory for the most part, but who do you love in fantasy this year? My guys, for me, one at every position was Kyler Murray at the quarterback, Travis Etienne at the running back, wide receiver was Drake London, and the tight end was Dalton Kincaid. So who do you guys love this year? Who are your my guys? Let me know in the comments below. Caleb says Drake May, my guy, huh? Are you drafting him in redraft leagues? I'm assuming probably not, right? One quarterback leagues, you're not drafting Drake May, or are you drafting him? Let me know, Caleb. I like it, though. Flames says Kyler, Waddle, and Pacheco. I like that. Flames, does the addition of Samaje Perine today worry you at all for Pacheco? It personally doesn't worry me that much. I just drafted Pacheco in my home league, so not too worried about that. Justin also says Pacheco. How we feeling about that? Trey, we got a Trey McBride in here. I like it, man. We got LaDainian Tomlinson. Get out of here. Justin says Lamar, Pacheco, Wilson, and Pitts. I like it. Look, man, I love all of these picks for the most part. Pacheco should have a good year. Waddle should have a good year. Waddle's calf injury, I don't know what's going on with that, but I'm not too worried about it. Caleb says don't ban me. I'll think about it. We're up on the board here. We're just going to take... I was going to say we're just going to take our tight end. I guess so. Jake Ferguson, he's the last of like the true tight ends, I think. I mean, Njoku's still there. People like Njoku. I definitely prefer Ferguson over Njoku in my own personal rankings, so we'll take him. Clear-cut number 2 option here in Dak Prescott's offense here in Dallas, and I think it's going to stay that way. There's really nobody else who's going to compete for targets here. I guess if you like Brandon Cooks as a flyer, sure, but I think Ferguson is the red zone target here. I think he's going to be very solid. Swift comes off the board to Drunk Driver. I like the Swift selection. He's a guy that I like this year too. But now that we have our tight end, we don't really got to worry about it. We can kind of wait on this position for a little bit longer. Let me see. I guess I'll go back to the big board. Let's just go to here so you guys can see that. And I'm going to pull up. You don't need that. I'll pull that off to the side. I was going to pull up week 1 schedule, see if we could make some predictions for week 1. So here, looking at week 1, we got Ravens and Chiefs on Thursday Night Football. I'll put the matchups in, or I'll say the matchups. You guys tell me the prediction in the chat. I'm going with the Chiefs over the Ravens in week 1. How are we feeling about that matchup? I'm going Chiefs. What are you guys going? And let me go back here. We should be good. I think the Chiefs take that one. Not really necessarily going to be... I mean, I guess it could be a close game, but why are we betting against the champs? It's going to be the Kansas City Chiefs. Now, looking at the next game, going to the Sunday slate, we got Panthers-Saints. I think that's a Saints dub. Patriots-Bengals, a Bengals dub. Texans and Colts, we're going with the Texans. Titans and Bears, I'm going with the Caleb Williams-led Bears. Broncos-Seahawks, give me the Seahawks. Cowboys-Browns, give me the Cowboys. Rams, Lions. Give me the Lions to beat the Rams. And then we'll go back to what else we got here? We got Packers, Eagles. Give me the Eagles. Vikings, Giants. Homer pick, bias pick. Give me the Vikings. Sam Darnold's going to beat those Giants. Steelers, Falcons. Give me the Falcons. Cardinals, Bills. Give me the Bills. Maybe the Cardinals. That's going to be a close game, actually. Jaguars, Dolphins. Give me the Dolphins. Raiders, Chargers. Give me the Chargers. Cowboys, Bucks. Give me the Bucks. And Jets, Niners. Give me the Niners. That's my week 1 predictions. Anything you guys disagree with in the chat, let me know. But we're up on the board here. We're going to go right back to our wide receiver position. And why not? He's kind of fallen. We're going to take Jordan Addison. For some reason, I keep drafting quite a bit of Addison this year. But I feel like as my wide receiver 4, wide receiver 5, why not? Cruz in the chat. He says, what up, Andrew? What up, Cruz? Appreciate you being here. Means a lot, man. Hopefully you are having a good evening. Now, as we look for our next one, I know we got Bentley in here. He's been chilling. Oh, we got a question here from Cruz. Cruz says, what are we doing with Jahan Dotson in Dynasty? Look, here's the reality with Jahan Dotson. I think this is probably a lateral move for his production. He goes to an upgraded offense, but he goes from the number 2 option to the number 3 option. But was he even really the number 2 option in Washington? Probably not. I think laterally, production-wise, value-wise, if you can get somebody to buy into it, I'm probably selling. What do I want for Dotson? I mean, if you can get a late second, that's obviously what you want out of Jahan Dotson. But he may be a hold until he signs a new contract with a new team, and that may just be the hold for Jahan Dotson. He's kind of this asset that's a little bit dead in the water right now. Scribble says Jahan Dotson. I think you hold him unless you can get a late second. If you can get an early third in like a 10-team league, an early third in maybe even a 12-team league, I'd consider it. But yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. I don't think he's going to be a producer that much, and there may still be people who believe in him, but it may take him signing another contract for people to get back in on him and maybe give you that late second. But I'd be shopping for a late second, early third if I could get it. Scribble says, not a big Addison guy, but he goes too late in best ball. Agreed. I am not trying to draft as much Addison as I've drafted, but as you said, he goes quite late. So, getting a guy with big playability like Addison, throwing him here in wide receiver 4 or 5, why not? And another guy that I've been drafting a little bit more as of recently is Jonathan Brooks. And it seems like people are going to push him down boards now too because he is officially placed on the PUP. Not a big deal for us. We believed that he was going to be on the PUP to begin with. This is no new news for us. Jonathan Brooks is going to be fine. And then actually, I do believe that Jonathan Brooks could potentially be a league winner down the stretch this year just based off of how Dave Canales has used running backs in his offenses before, the pass catching upside, all of that. I think Jonathan Brooks is sneaky for the second half of the year. Johnny Detroit says Dobbs was a good pick this late. Yeah, I mean, when you get to this territory, I like drafting guys with upside in some of those offenses at wide receiver. I mean, we're talking Khalil Shakir, Curtis Samuel, Romeo Dobbs. I even like the Joshua Palmer pick. Like, Joshua could be the number 1 guy in Los Angeles, and I think it's going to be a better offense than people think. Now, that being said, I'm avoiding guys like some people. This is going to get some people hot. I'm avoiding, I'm not really taking Dontavion Wicks at his current ADP. I think he's overvalued at his current ADP. I'm probably not taking Jacoby Myers here because I think he's a little bit overvalued in a bad offense. I just don't think he has that much upside. He did produce last year, but he didn't have that much upside. That as well. Probably a guy like Mike Williams, not even touching Mike Williams in this range. Not really drafting Darnell Mooney. Haven't drafted a ton of Darnell Mooney here. Really haven't drafted a ton of the Panthers receivers, Leggett, Thielen, or I've drafted some Deontay, but not those other guys. I'm staying away from some of these bad offenses with murky wide receiver situations. Now, a good offense with a murky situation, Green Bay. What am I thinking of? Green Bay, Buffalo. I'm all in on taking a shot there. D says, my guy, Jaden Daniels. I like the Jaden Daniels call too. Should have some good rushing upside, especially in those 4-point passing touchdowns where you're going to get some more points for the rushing touchdowns. Now, we're back up on the board. Let's just grab QB2 right here. I'm going to go Brock Purdy, and we're going to get the Debo stack. Get some Purdy, Kyler Murray, get the stack. I like where we're at running back. This running back room feels really good. The wide receiver room feels solid. We got a good tight end. Kind of just filling out the roster now. Scribble says, love the Brooks call. Dave Canales, all right, Canales, wants to run the rock. I mean, he always has, right? You establish the run, and you are quick in the passing game. Get the ball out quickly. Like, that's what he wants to do with Bryce Young. And when you want to get the ball out quickly as well, what are you going to do? You're going to dump off to the running back. You're going to make short, easy throws. That's what you're going to try and do with Bryce Young. Who's going to be on the receiving end of that? Jonathan Brooks. Jonathan Brooks in a PPR league, he's going to have a lot of value as well. And he has the burst to break away those big plays as well. He's a lot burstier than a guy like Rachaad White, who last year finished as a running back 1. And Brooks is more talented than Rachaad White. So definitely a different team situation, but something to monitor as well, as I mentioned. All right, we're back up on the board here in a second. Give me a would have loved for another one of those running backs to come back around. Corum, Tajay, Devin Singletary. Would have liked one of those to come around. Johnny Detroit says burstier. Did I say burstier? What did I say? He has more burst. He's burstier. I don't know what I said. If I said burstier, I stand on it. Just know that. Dallas Goedert off the board. Trey Benson off the board. We're going to go back to the running back position here, most likely. Actually, I don't like what's available. We'll swing upside here. Maybe not upside, but talk about a guy who has big playability. Give me Gabe Davis. I'll take him as wide receiver 5. Said messed up Shaheed at the 114, left Purdy to you. I appreciate you. That's all I can say is I appreciate you. Ryan says, I'm the 103. Let me actually pull up the big board while I read this. I'm the 103. What you think so far? I was debating tight end round 4 and just hoped one of the two fell and neither of them did. Yeah, I think you still could have, at round 4, I think you still could have went with Andrews or Kincaid. Those are still fine picks in my opinion. But overall, not a bad strategy. I think that's the round that you do have to take the elite tight end. But those guys, Andrews and Kincaid would have been, if that was my strategy going into that, I would have probably taken one of those guys. I don't think there's a huge fall off between McBride and those guys. But we can look at your team at the end there too. Scribble says, I can't get excited about Goddard. Yeah, I can't either, dude. There's not a single draft where I've wanted to draft him at all. Like, I could have a full-on Eagle stack, and I wouldn't even want Goddard. Like, I think he is so mid that I just don't want him on my rosters ever. And it feels like his ADP is, like, higher than it even needs to be, like, for what he's actually given us over the last couple of seasons. So, like, I can't get down. I'm the same with you. I can't get down with Goddard. Not an exciting player to click draft on. Now, we're going to be back up here in a second. I got somebody in mind, if he makes it to us. And he doesn't. I wanted Zeke. That's okay. we will take another wide receiver. I'm going to go with Jerry Jeudy in this Browns offense. Gives us a wide receiver room of Debo, Devontae, Pickens, Addison, Gabe, and Jeudy. I think that's fine. We're probably going to take 2 more wide receivers max, and then fill out the running back room, and then get our extra tight end. Then we'll review some of these teams and then get on out of here, because I'm not going to lie to you guys. I got to piss. So I got to get out of here. No, I'm just kidding. I mean, I'm not kidding. I don't got to get out of here that urgently, but at the end of the day, you got to do what you got to do. But Jerry Jeudy, he's the selection. As I mentioned, we'll try and get a couple more of these running backs. I think we'll try and target some ambiguous backfields, maybe some guys with some upside. I think in these best ball formats, especially when you're not having to pick the starting lineups each and every week, waiting on that running back room as you get later, you're just more likely when we get down to this point, like we're talking about wide receivers that are the 3rd or 4th or 5th option on their own offense. We're talking about RB2s are still available here, like the backups to some starters. So getting the running back here, it just feels a little bit better value than drafting the wide receivers later. But that's just me. I know some people feel different because they feel like there's a major cliff at the running back position. But I don't mind taking 2 or 3 of these guys at the end. I mean, we're talking Charbonnet, right? Charbonnet has 1 injury in front of him, Kenneth Walker. If Kenneth Walker goes down, Charbonnet has the upside that you want. Same thing can be said with Algier, Ray Davis, Braylon Allen, Bucky Irving. Like all of these guys, even Antonio Gibson, Marshawn Lloyd, like all of these guys, Jordan Mason, like there's a ton of these guys that still have value. So I don't mind taking them later in these drafts. But let's see what we can do here first. We're about to be back up on the clock here in just a second. We're going to get a timeout from Johnny? No, he got Mike Williams. All right, Thielen off the board. We're going to take my guy McLaughlin. I like McLaughlin a lot. I've talked about it a lot this offseason as well. In fact, Nick at bdge tweeted something about it today, and I've been talking about it for a while, but it's Sean Payton targets his running backs more than anybody. Samaje Perine just got cut. Not necessarily like we expected Samaje Perine to be a pain in the butt for the Denver running backs anyways, but McLaughlin, he's the clear-cut RB2 behind Javonte Williams in an offense that's going to pass to the running back, and McLaughlin has pass-catching upside. I think McLaughlin is a sneaky pick. Like, if we're talking about, it's gonna sound, it sounds so crazy. Now I'm gonna say it because I gotta stand on business. But when I say if anybody has the chance to be this year's Kyren Williams, it's Jaleel McLaughlin. Now keep in mind, Kyren Williams, they don't happen. It's an anomaly. 1 in a million. There is a 999,999% chance that Jaleel McLaughlin is not that. But that 1 in a million chance, I think McLaughlin, he would be my bet. I just think he's a solid running back, and he can be used in a great way. Now, Johnny says Jaleel is not quite Kamara. Yeah, but is he close enough that he can give you RB2 numbers, RB1 numbers, even in the right situation if Javonte goes down for the year? I think so. Scribble says fire hot take. I'm not even trying to be hot takey. I'm just saying, you get the 1 in a million chance. If you're looking for the anomaly, the potential breakout, Jaleel McLaughlin is a good bet. D says Reggie Bush, Sproles, Kamara, and now McLaughlin to the moon. Look, there's a good chance that it's just Javonte. But I'm saying you're not going to get Javonte this cheap in your drafts. I'm practicing what I'm preaching, though, because in my home league, one of my very last picks in my home league, I just took on Jaleel McLaughlin. We'll see what happens. 1 or 2 weeks go down the road. He's not involved. Why not? Get rid of him. Go pick somebody else up off of waivers. Maybe 2 weeks, 3 weeks down the road, you decide to do that. But week 1, week 2, maybe he is a little bit more involved than we think. We'll see. Anthony says adding this one to the XLS folder. Hey, Anthony's the guy that keeps the receipts, so I would appreciate you to keep the receipts. Because if this one hits, y'all all have to subscribe. If this one hits, you have to subscribe. You should be already, but you have to if this one hits. Look, we're just going to take Ray Davis. Looks like he's the clear running back 2 behind what's his name? James Cook. So we'll take him as the running back 5 on our roster. Still probably got to add another couple wide receivers. We'll probably go back to that. But I'm feeling good about the team that we got right now. This is a very solid roster. Very well-rounded roster, if you ask me. But look, you can take the receipt. In fact, we may be due here in a couple months. It may take 1 or 2 months of the season playing, but we may be due for a Show Me the Receipts episode. If you guys have never seen that on our channel, we literally will go back, screen record, save, a take that we made, good or bad. It doesn't matter. It could be a good one. It could be a bad one. We show it right there on the video. We react to the bad take. We react to the good take because at the end of the day, we are trying to predict the future. It's hard. Sometimes it seems hard. Sometimes it seems easy. It's fun, though. That's why you guys are here. Now, Johnny says JMC equals my guy. Didn't want to say it too soon. I like it. I like it. Sorry about that. As I mentioned, bear with me, man. Got this sore throat. It's so annoying. Got this bdge draft tomorrow. We're supposed to be vlogging the whole thing as well. It'll be fun. But bet your ass I'm taking some of these cough drops. These things have been lifesavers. I'm not sponsored or anything. I don't know if you guys can see it. They're the little I don't know if you can see it. It's like a little Mucinex sore throat plus pain relief. I don't know. My wife found them. They've been absolute lifesavers. They taste incredible. It's like candy, and they work amazingly. Like I would recommend these. There is no other cough drop or whatever that I would recommend other than that one. That one's elite. I probably will never get another one. Now we have Kyler Murray. Should we go with the potential stack here? Another guy that I think is a great dart throw, playing the slot there in Arizona. We're gonna go Greg Dortch. I don't mind taking some dart throws on him. And I think it's just bonus points that we already have Kyler Murray on this roster. So we'll take him there and go with that. Aiden, my guy, what's up, dude? Now, look, we still have a backup tight end that we need to address as well. There's not a lot of backup tight ends that I enjoy left on the board. Maybe 1 or 2. We'll take a gander at those guys. Maybe take a little peek. You know what I'm saying? A little peek ski at them. See if we can find one for the roster that's actually usable. And as I say that, K. Dotton comes off the board. He's one of the guys that you would take a little peek see at. But we'll see, man. Maybe an Isaiah Likely. Maybe I should just say some names to try and bait you guys. Maybe a Jonnu Smith. Maybe a Juwan Johnson. To see if you should draft one of those guys. I'm just kidding. Imagine if I really did that. Imagine if I was trying to bait you guys on stream by just like talking about players that I didn't want to draft just to get you guys to draft them. That would be insane behavior. Would I put it past me? In a competitive setting, maybe not. Sometimes you got to do what you got to do to get the dub. As long as it's within the rules, I don't have any. I don't see a fault with it. Sometimes you got to win, man. Now, we are going to take an actual peek ski at this. Why do I keep saying that? I'm going to take a peek at the tight end position. And this is gross. It is bad. Very bad. And we did have, man, not good. We did have Isaiah Likely come off the board. I guess I will take Ben Sinnott because I do actually like him enough. I don't know how good he's going to be, but we're going to take him. I like him. I see D says Rams paid Parkinson since Higbee going to be out for a while. Yeah, he's interesting too. I think I like Sinnott more as a talent, but I see the argument for Parkinson. Aiden says, I have Dortch in my Dynasty League, and I'm very uncomfortable with him starting as one of my flexes. Yeah, I mean, if you have to start him, every week, that's scary, and it would make you uncomfortable, and it should make you uncomfortable for the most part. But like in a best ball format, when you're talking about last wide receiver on your team, second to last wide receiver on your team, plug in the good weeks, get the good points. The bad weeks, somebody hopefully plugs in for him. I don't know. Anthony says, what is in those cough drops? This man plotting. Look, man, we're so close to season. I'm just in competitive mode, I guess, now. I want that trophy. I want that championship. And I know, we're drafting with subscribers today, and there isn't a trophy, and there isn't a ring, and there isn't any of these things that we're playing for. But you know what we are playing for? $32. There's $32 in this prize pot. $3 from each one of you guys. I'm trying to win your money. I want to win your money and more so. I just want the bragging rights. And you guys should want the bragging rights too. I mean, look, if you are in a league with me and you beat me, let me know. Let me hear about it. I want to hear about it. That's what we should be playing for. We're so close to season. I'm in competitive mode, man. This is it for me. This is what I play for. Specifically the bragging rights, not the money, but specifically the bragging rights. Now, we're going to be back up here in just a second. Probably just looking at running back and wide receiver at this point. They say scroll down, so let's scroll down just a little bit. Not a lot that I love. Obviously, we're at the very end of the draft, so who cares? There's a couple running backs that I take around this point. Bigsby, Dameon Pierce, these are the two guys. Just RB2s. Are they good? I don't know. Are they bad? Probably. Are they RB2s behind a starter? Yes, they are. So, in that case, we will take Tank Bigsby, and that will complete our running back room with Breece Hall, Josh Jacobs, Jonathan Brooks, Jaleel McLaughlin, Ray Davis, and Tank Bigsby. Johnny's wild. Johnny, you're wild, brother. I'm telling you, it's that elderberry, whatever that elderberry wild cherry flavor. That's that Mucinex, baby. Oh, there's a good, it actually did a good one. There you go. That's the one. Look, I'm not kidding you. When you got to make the content and the voice ain't right, you got to get right. You got to get right, man. I got 2 packs of these, man. We're chilling. You got to get right. I keep them in the side drawer right here. Ready. Whenever. And you also got to keep that glass on you. Whatever. We're getting off the rails here. What are we doing? Get Dameon Pierce out of my queue. I'm not drafting you. Let's go to the final big board here. As you guys can see, we have just a few. Now, final warning. If you want me to review your team, give you my 2 cents about the roster, put it in the chat right now. I will save them. I will look at them here in just a second, and then we'll get on out of here because we got stuff to do tomorrow. And even though it's not late, I'm trying to chill. I just flew in red eye the other night. Still trying to catch up on sleep. Not going to lie to you. I love you guys, man. Let's see. Gotta just take a shot on something, right? Purdy, Kyler Murray. Can we get a stack anywhere? Some Ray McLeod, maybe? These are just horrible, horrible picks. Roman Wilson, maybe? But actually, we have George Pickens, not Deontay. I wish we had Deontay. It's like wide receiver 6. We'll get Jason's. We'll get Jacobs. Anthony says, give those teams a peak ski. You got it. You got it. Johnny, not Minnesota, Detroit. Whatever, Johnny. We're going to go DJ Shark. Why not? Take the guy on the outside. They're in Los Angeles. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's, what, 8? A little 2, 6, 8, 2 build. Not bad, baby. But let's look at this roster because this is the team that we drafted. Kyler Murray and Brock Purdy at the quarterback position. You got Breece Hall, Josh Jacobs, Jonathan Brooks, Jaleel McLaughlin, Ray Davis, and Tank Bigsby at the running back. Wide receiver, we got Deebo Samuel, Devontae Smith, George Pickens, Jordan Addison, Gabe Davis, Jerry Jeudy, Greg Dortch, and DJ Shark. And then Jake Ferguson and Ben Sinnott at the tight end position. Solid roster. The best I've ever seen? Probably not. Pretty good, though. It's a pretty good roster. I'm not going to lie to you. Jacob says, in my draft, I've got the 102. No idea who I want between CMC, CD, and Tyreek. Dude is probably going JJ. Dude going JJ at the 101. I mean, you probably get gifted CMC. I'd say CMC or CD are my two picks, especially after the contract extension from CD. Obviously, I don't know the scoring settings, but it's CMC or CD, and most likely you should be going CMC. Let's see. Justin says my team's solid. Dan says I was the 8 spot. Yes, I reached on Rice. Was hoping on a home stack, but clearly number 12 had the same idea. Fair enough. Fair enough. All right. Well, let's look at these rosters real quick. We got Jonathan that we got to find. We got to find his roster. And let's see. Jalen Hurts, Tua Tagovailoa, Drake May, Joe Mixon, Raheem Mostert, Ezekiel Elliott, Tyler Algier, Braylon Allen, Audric Estime, A.J. Brown, Nico Collins, Stephon Diggs. We got double Houston wide receivers. Not a bad strat. I actually think that that's fine. Would have been nice to see you get CJ too, just to lock that up with the super stack. Rome, Jameson, Rashid, Tolbert, Bowers, likely. Not a bad team. Probably a little bit weak at the running back position. Maybe didn't even need to take Drake May, but I see why you did. But tiny bit weak at the running back position, but overall a very solid roster. Would love to see the super stack if you could have got it done. Not sure if you passed on CJ or something like that later in the draft, but would have been cool. What else we got? Ryan said he was at the 103, so we'll which one was that? I don't know what that was. I think we kind of looked at it. It was the tight end, though. We got Jason. Jason's got Mahomes and Herbert. That just feels absolutely incredible, even though Herbert probably won't be what he was this year as he was last year. But then you got Taylor, Saquon, Zach, Ty Chandler, Kamani Vidal, Damian Pierce. Solid running back room as well. Calvin Ridley, Chris Godwin, JSN, Ladd McConkey, Dontavion Wicks, Darnell Mooney, Wan'Dale Robinson, Gonna need me another one of them cough drops. Marvin Mims, Travis Kelce, Luke Musgrave. Very solid team. It feels a little young for like a single season format. I think betting on breakouts from Wicks, McConkey, JSN, even like a Wan'Dale, feels a little bit risky, but in a best ball, I don't blame you. The running back, the quarterback, even the stack with Travis Kelce there is going to be a foundation that you can build upon. So solid team. The wide receiver room feels a little bit sketchy and probably pretty unreliable throughout the year. Now, Jacobson. Now we got Caleb Williams, Will Levis, Sam Darnold. I don't mind taking 3 quarterbacks in this situation. Actually, I very often I say don't take 3 quarterbacks. I don't mind it in this situation. Then you got Kyron, James Cook, Tony Pollard, Devin Singletary, J.K. Dobbins, Jamal Williams. Solid running back room as well. I don't mind that. Hill, Moore, Reed, Deontay, Polk, Wilson, Dotson, Andrews, Henry. this is one of the better teams I think that we've looked at so far. It's very well rounded, very balanced. There's some upside and some high floor players as well. Very, very good build on this one. I like that one. I'm gonna give you a solid B plus, teetering to A territory. I think the QB holds you back just a tiny bit, but Caleb Williams, he could be, one of those elite guys. But is it gonna be year one? We'll see. Johnny, Minnesota. We'll talk Johnny, Minnesota's team. 4 quarterbacks. What are we doing, Johnny? Lamar, Rodgers, Nix, Fields. Interesting strategy. Henry, Jones, Zamir, Tajay, Justice Hill, Amon-Ra, Chris Olave, Zay Flowers, Hollywood Brown, DeAndre Hopkins, Mike Williams, Jalen McMillan. I mean, look, for seeing the 4 quarterbacks and then reading off the running backs and wide receivers, it's actually not that bad. I thought you would be pretty weak because you have 4 roster spots going to the QB. It's actually not that bad. The tight end, honestly, that's probably pretty stinky. It's not going to be pretty good, but even if I like Noah Fant as a potential late round breakout, but I expected worse with 4 QBs. It's actually a pretty decent. It's decent. You just might be a little shallow come midseason, late season when you're a few injuries in. Now, that is it, man. That is it. Oh, wait. Dan says, anywho, I'll take a rating. Drunk driver. We'll go see that team real quick before we get on out of here. A-Rich, Kirk Cousins, Swift, Ramondre, Brian Robinson Jr., Antonio Gibson, Tyrone Tracy, Will Shipley, Chase, London Rice, Ayuk. That's very solid. Palmer, Douglas, Malachi, Javon, Kittle, Freiermuth. This is a very solid roster as well. Very good roster, very solid roster. One thing I typically don't do, you have Stevenson and Gibson. It's almost like you're handcuffing your starter. In a best ball format, I'm probably not seeking my handcuff. But this is a very solid roster. I actually like it. And then I think we have one more in here, actually. Justin says, Waldroff. Sorry if I'm butchering your last name. But we'll go look at that roster. Daniels, Baker, Carr, Gibbs, Etienne, White, Chubb, Cook, Wilson, Evans, Keenan, Lockett, Adonai, Bateman, Luke McCaffrey, Kyle Pitts, David Njoku, K. Dotton. Okay, so actually it's a solid roster. I would say I'm very against having 3 quarterbacks and 3 tight ends. I don't mind if you go 3 in one of them, but I feel like using 6 roster spots on onesie positions like tight end and quarterback isn't typically something that I like to do. I think if you wanted one or the other, that's fine, but 6 roster spots total, and when we only get 18, that's one thing that I probably don't want to do. But other than that, that's me just being picky. You still have top-end talent like Gibbs and Etienne, even Rashad White, Garrett Wilson, Mike Evans. You're pretty solid. I think the Otten pick, I would have liked another running back for running back depth instead of Otten, especially because you have Pitts and Njoku, and that's probably where I would have left it at. But overall, good roster. Not really too much to complain about. Okay, I think Johnny says, I'll admit it. Knicks did not fit my build, hence the extra QB of Fields. Fair enough. All right. I don't know why I need to pull that one back up. But all right, guys, that is everything today. Appreciate you guys coming on here, hanging out with me, drafting some fantasy football teams, talking some fantasy football. Season's right around the corner. So if you guys are not already, subscribe to this channel. Hit the subscribe button. Hit the notification bell. Plenty of content will be coming your way. A lot of content, actually. Probably more than you can even consume. But that's a good thing. I want to give you guys lots of options. Just make sure you're subscribed, man. And if you're in here in the stream right now and you haven't already, hit the like button. It does help this channel quite a lot. It's a free thing that you can do to support this channel. So if you haven't already, hit the like button. Hit the subscribe button. Justin says, appreciate it. Flame says, feel better. I appreciate it, man. Like I said, I'm not too sick. Just a little bit of a sore throat, itchy throat. Makes it hard to stream. Makes it hard to record. But other than that, nothing crazy. But I appreciate the well wishes. But as I mentioned, more stuff coming. Vlog on Friday for you guys to see my home league draft. Hopefully you guys enjoy that. Very different piece of content than we normally do. But I wanted to do it. I wanted to show you guys what it's like when I go to a home league draft in Vegas, with some of my friends and stuff like that. Maybe you like it, maybe you don't. Hopefully you do. it was a fun piece of content for me to make. So that will be out on Friday. Maybe a mega mock draft stream on Saturday. But with all of that being said, I have nothing else for you guys today. So I will see you on our next episode. Till then, peace out.